Anyway, everybody, love you all. It's an honor to be able to serve you 3-minute ad breaks at the top of the hour. What's going on, everybody? For so many years. I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the HASAN broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MVs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today it is Thanksgiving, also known as Janksgiving. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, November 27th, 2025, also known as Thanksgiving, also known as Janksgiving. You already know what's going on. One battle after another is a work of art. As a movie, it's amazing. It's a fantastic movie. It's supposed to be a Pynchon novel, that Vineland, the Pynchon novel that is recreated through the voice of Paul Thomas Anderson. And while I haven't read that novel and am unfamiliar with Pynchon's work in general, people like Noah Colwyn, who are big fans of Pynchon and Paul Thomas Anderson, were very excited about this movie and have described to me that the Vineland novel was supposed to be about, you know, the Reagan era, an assessment of like where, you know, social progress and revolutionary sentiment went in that time frame, with unimaginable reactionary fascist forces absolutely gutting whatever kind of revolutionary sentiment that existed. And I think that this is like the modern iteration of that. And I will say that, you know, as far as the politics of the movie, I'm just going to say that Paul Thomas Anderson is a little bit of a lip. Okay, he's definitely a lip. I got that vibe from him, I think. If you just watch it as a movie, it's fucking awesome. It's great. The only issue I had was with the score, which I know people are going to yell at me over it, but I think that the score that was supposed to basically drive the tone of the movie at times could be a little bit too busy, even though it was supposed to be chaotic, and I totally understand that. I'm just saying every other aspect of the movie was so perfect that the score left a little bit more that I desired out of it, okay? I don't know music. It's a bad take, I know. The score ultimately was still good. I'm just saying that the movie was like 10-10 across the board, where the score was like an 8 out of 10, if that makes sense. The movie is, it kind of felt like it was like a very woke white man's take on white supremacy that got a little strange on revolutionary black women at times. And I'm just another white guy giving a take on another white guy talking about white supremacy. So it felt a little off. It didn't feel like it was coming from a place of knowledge, but rather a place of understanding, even though it had a lot of great moments. Because I think as a white guy, Paul Thomas Anderson absolutely fucking nails the white supremacy element of it, and how discardable and how disposable the goons of white supremacy are. And Sean Penn did a phenomenal job being the representation, the manifestation of white supremacy in one person. And as a goon of white supremacy, he is so disposable, right? He is so replaceable. Like every action that he was taking was in the direction. He was a sexual freak. He had a sexual pathology. All of that was fantastic. So as a white guy who's woke, Paul Thomas Anderson nailed the role that white people play in white supremacy. However, I did think that as far as the furthest away, the concept that he is like the least familiar with, I would say, was like a revolutionary black woman. As far as the politics goes, that was the only aspect of it that I didn't personally appreciate as much. I mean, I'm telling you, like I thought it was a 9.5 out of 10 movie, okay? I'm just being hypercritical because it's a movie about revolution in America and white supremacy and fascism. So as far as the politics of it, I'm being hyper critical of it, but it's like, if you don't give a shit about any of that, and if you just go and want to watch like a really good movie, it's a really fucking good movie. Incredibly well shot. It was just so awesome. It was great. I think liberalism ultimately stunts your assessment of like revolutionary activity. It was, again, fucking awesome though. It was so good. It was so good. I disagree with the negative black women portrayal in this movie. I don't think people quite understand the complexity of humanity nowadays. I think it was good because it showcased the importance of a lot of historic black revolutionary women, but also simultaneously, I think it was was just like the most pivotal figure. The most pivotal figure is seen as like an anarchist or just a person with no like real structured, organized interest in making change. The black woman's name Perfidia means traitor. No, I understand. Like, I don't think it's a fucking psyop. I don't know. I just think that it left me wanting more. The role that Perfidia played, even as like somewhat of a villain character, right? Also, shout out Mexicans. Okay, I just gotta say, this was a love letter to Mexicans. Shout out immigrants. Shout out Mexicans. Shout out La Raza. They were portrayed incredibly well. Their role was portrayed incredibly well. I think they did a fucking awesome job with that. Movie was poorly written. I think it's like a very dense work that was going to be incredibly difficult to do a faithful adaptation to, especially in Paul Thomas Anderson's vision. And I think he nailed it overall. I think you're wrong about that. It was not poorly written at all. The French 75 is a bastardization of the Weather Underground, a Vietnam era group. I thought it was like a collection of the what was it, the army in West Germany as well, like the Red Army. It was the Weather Underground for sure, but it was like a combination. It was a combination of like the RAF, the Red Army faction, and Weather Underground. It was like a mixture of like a lot of different movements that existed, like revolutionary movements that engaged in acts of militancy at the time in developed nations in the Western world, for the record, because that's a major difference. Because the Battle for Algiers is like a big part of this. In the background, you see the main character played by Leonardo DiCaprio watching it at a certain point, and I think Paul Thomas Anderson actually suggested watching that as a complementary piece to this. And I think it's important because that is a real anti-colonial movement, whereas this was a decolonial movement almost in a developed country that is entirely comprised, or I guess like it showcased like the differences between first worlders fighting back in whichever way they want to versus in whichever way they can against these oppressive constructs that are harming others versus I think perfectly reflected with Benicio del Toro's character and his entire operation, people that have been fighting for hundreds of years, that is a lot closer to the real like revolutionary acts, the real anti-colonial actions that were taken by the FLN. In some ways, it felt as though the Americans, a movement comprised of both black people and white people and all these other like, wokes, in French 75, were kind of engaging in like disorganized acts of chaos and violence, as opposed to like the much more organized survival initiatives that the immigrants were engaging in. I think that there was a comparison there as well. Then there was also obviously the classic, the new wokes are fucking annoying and even more disorganized. The French 75 was inspired by Weather Underground, and Perfidia is based on Assata Shakur, but I think we all agree that the movie fails to do justice to the ideology and the material Paul Thomas Anderson was inspired by. I think it was good. The conversation between Leo and the operator was your chat to a T. Yeah, Comrade Josh. I mean, that stuff was glib and it was heavy-handed. I think there was a funnier way to write that, and I think that's why I'm saying like it's PTA's liberalism that stunts his critique of like modern. Like I think Ari Aster did a better job in Eddington. I will say this. On just that moment alone where he just goes, oh, I need my safe space or whatever. Like when Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, also known as, what was it, Ghetto Paul or something, or Rocket Man, when he's having this conversation with what remains of like the French 75, this revolutionary group, Ghetto Pat, sorry. When they were having that conversation, it was supposed to be a reflection on what radlibs have done to the the revolutionary cause and the revolutionary movement by being like hyper woke all the time, and how damaging that is. Like, I think he was trying to make an argument about that, but I do think that the dialogue there was too much of an outsider, just kind of looking at how stupid like those DSA meetings can look like from the outside. The whole like point of privilege. I have sensory issues, so please don't yell. Like, it was basically a moment like that. Whereas Ari Aster in Eddington actually nailed the ways in which performative activism and radical liberalism actually has this role in modern left discourse that is purely for the performance in and of itself, and oftentimes seen as like, I mean, the dialogue on that issue, if I were to just compare one to the other, I would say that Ari Aster did a better job of showcasing that, you know? Yeah, it was a terrible argument. The feds literally were there to kill him, and PTA is mocking OPSEC. Okay, you are the hyper woke, for the record. You are the hyper woke. Calm down. That wasn't about that at all. We're not talking about it within the confines of like logic inside of the movie. I'm critiquing the dialogue, because like the goal of Paul Thomas Anderson in that moment is to showcase that like the new version of the wokes are so focused on their own personal feelings that they're being annoying and they're being a fucking nuisance, and they wear that on their sleeve almost. I disagree, because they show the importance of passwords in the movie. Leo is actually wrong. It is important and frustrates him because it's a messy revolutionary, but the passwords do matter. Josh is just annoying. Leo is the one focused on his personal feelings, even though it's important. No, I understand. Benicio had only 13 minutes of screen time in a nearly 3-hour movie and was easily the top 3 most important characters in the film. Yeah, Benicio del Toro is my absolute fucking goat, dude. He was so incredible. I did not realize that he was only 13 minutes. Are you serious? There's no way he was only on screen for 13 total minutes. It felt like he was on a lot longer. He was such a pivotal character, dude. Sensei, Benicio del Toro's performance was incredible. And as much as I hate to admit it, because Leonardo DiCaprio, while this movie was being made and being marketed, fucking came out, aside from being like kind of a creep, openly stated his desires to build a green hotel in Tel Aviv or something, as Israel is just fucking slaughtering Palestinians. As an actor, he was great in this. I don't know. He was just very good. He was just very good in this movie. Leonardo DiCaprio was very good in this movie as an actor. He was a great actor. He cares about the environment, at least. Yeah, I love caring about the environment, which is why I'm going to an ethno-state that is participating in a genocide and an ecocide simultaneously. To fucking build a hotel. I love caring about the environment that way. He cares about the environment so much he wants to destroy it so he has more work to do, I guess. Fucking cool. Thoughts on Pluribus and the white woman individualism? I'm gonna get to that too. There is a lot of fucking great movies out, man. It's actually pretty crazy. Pluribus, as far as Pluribus goes, I have not finished the last episode that just came out, but I'm almost caught up on that. And I will say that Pluribus, from episode 2, when she just randomly does a Stalin name drop, has rubbed me the wrong way almost. I love it. It's, again, incredibly shot, but I do think it's like weirdly anti-communist. At first, I thought it was about like how, you know, AI is bad. Like I thought it was about AI and like the hive mind and all this stuff. But I do think, in a weird way, Pluribus might just be about anti-collectivist, anti-socialist, anti-communist in general. It is such a liberal, hyper-individualist assessment overall. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater on that one, because it's such a fucking awesome, it's such a good TV show. God damn, Apple is really fucking cooking. Everything on Apple TV is lip shit. Dude, all I'm saying is, before people shit on Apple TV, okay, who's out there doing it like Apple TV? Our boy Phineas did their new intro song, their intro sound. And not only that, but also, who's out there doing it like Apple TV? At a time when every major tech company has done incredible amounts of investment into AI, Apple TV was like, no, we're just going to do premiere television, actually. We are going to light money on fucking fire. We are going to light money on fire, and we are going to make prestige TV. Bro, what are you talking about? Apple's also investing in AI, you dingus. Nowhere near the level of investment that Microsoft has made. What are you talking about? Yeah, they're leveraging, just like everybody else is. I think in the era where everyone is pivoting to anti-woke right now, and you're going to see more and more of this, just wait. In the era where everyone is pivoting to anti-woke, and Hollywood is actually still continuing that pivot. For those of you who are unfamiliar, that's still going on, okay? Before woke makes a profound comeback, before the pendulum swings back in the direction of woke, I'm telling you right now, a lot more of Hollywood is going to be even more and more right wing. I can see it. I'm reading the tea leaves. I'm telling you, that's my lock, with the exception of, I guess, like Apple TV. Anti-woke Hollywood is so ass is absolute shit. Yeah. In the era of anti-woke Hollywood, when people are desperately looking for woke, I think Apple is going to be the most like lib shit woke previous Hollywood era woke content you will get. I don't think you guys understand how incredibly anti-woke Hollywood is going to get. We're just in the beginning. We're just in the beginning of that anti-woke pivot. It's coming. It's gonna fucking slap you in the face if you're just oblivious to what's going on behind the scenes. What does that even look like though? Just absolute utter dog shit. That's exactly what it looks like. What do you think? Fascists are too angry to make art. They're incapable, and every kind of anti-woke initiative will be just like heavy-handed and boring and shitty. Yeah, look at the Daily Wire movies. Like the only anti-woke director that's like kind of good is Taylor Sheridan, okay? And I only say that because Sicario 1 was a banger. Once again, carried by, I think Benicio was in that too, right? Yeah, he was. Sicario is woke. It shows how fucked up and evil the CIA is. Yeah, I know. But also, it's one of those movies where, like, if you are right wing, you watch it and you go, oh my God, the CIA is so fucking cool. Like, it has something for everybody, okay? Yes, if you watch it with an understanding of like how the CIA operates, you're like, wow, pure evil. I can't believe how destabilizing of a role they play in Latin American countries. But if you watch it as a chud, you go, oh my God, it's so sick. I can't wait to be an operator and wear a button-up shirt and a fucking vest over it and be a tier 1 operator in the fucking streets. I never watched the second one, but I suspect the second one is more heavy-handed on the chud side. I have of the mindset that right-wingers and fascists are capable of making good art. They're called social fascists, which is the entirety of the Hollywood, Hollywood. Social fascists are capable of making good art. They're all libbed up wokes. They are also right wing. Paul Thomas Anderson is another great example of this. Having said that, as I was talking about, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, fucking awesome. Okay, great movie overall, wall to wall. It's like 8 hours long, and it doesn't feel that way at all while you're watching it. It's another one of those movies that's like, people will say, oh, it's too long. But I thought it was great. And I didn't even feel like this 2 hour and 40 minute movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes long at all. Yeah, it hooks you in from the start, and it didn't feel long at all. That's how you know it was good.